Hello everyone, this is Slashshot. We are going to unlock Yulia's 3C. And we actually haven't done it yet. It came out a week ago or something. Or was it just a few days ago? I can't remember. But the interesting thing is this 3C has a lot of conditions in it. First of all, it's really good if you got hit by lots of debuffs and you're not at full HP, so you can actually use this skill to recover HP so that your talent is going to be effective, right? And this dispel all debuffs, right? So it's really good unless you're silenced. As long as you're not silenced, this basically gives her almost full recovery. Now this second part is a bit problematic. It dispels only 2 buffs unconditionally, which is weaker than Holy Justice. So it's a worse tank buster. Right? Stripping 5 buffs from tank is devastating, especially if you strip defensive stats and also strips like 2 range guards, for example, right? Stripping water buff and all these 3C lockdown buff from juggler is also OP, right? But if you use this 3C, then it's going to be just 2 buff removal unconditionally, a lot less consistent, although you have 1 extra range. Now if the target has less than 3 mobility or the target is stunned, dispel 3 more buff. So this is really weird. So you need some. How do you stun them? Yulia herself cannot stun, so you need somebody else to stun them, like Basil stun or Bernhardt stun, right? Emmerich, I think, has a stun, so you need something else to stun before Yulia engages the strip additional buff. I don't think my box have a lot of stun other than maybe our Bernhardt. So the first part of this condition, 3 mobility, if the target has less than 3 mobility, this is possible, right? If you have Emmerich, Yulia, or Juggler 3C, I took out Ledin, so Ledin doesn't count anymore, right? So Yulia's Godly Menace itself can apply a 2 range mobility debuff, right? But it's kind of counterintuitive, right? So if I have to use Godly Menace first before doing this, then this is not a tank buster skill, right? Because my Godly Menace is going to give a anti-movement aura, so that next turn I want to snipe some other units beside the tank. I want to kill a critical DPS unit or a healer, right? In which case, this follow-up skill is not going to be used on tank. So this skill is just doesn't feel like a tank buster. It's not a tank busting skill. It unconditionally dispels less buffs, and the condition where you would actually strip 5 buffs, you probably want to use the skill on a non-tank units. And in the condition where the before battle effect is beneficial, you also don't have time to use Godly Menace, right? Because you have a lot of nasty debuff and you're not full HP, especially with heal reversal or heal negation on. You want to use this first, right? So you don't have time to use Godly Menace to trigger the second part. So I feel like this is worse than Holy Justice. Because I use Holy Justice sometimes to bust tanks right away. I just go in there, first skill, Holy Justice, strip all the buff, right? Especially if I strip 2 range guard and make their position a bit difficult to manage, I can follow up and kill another unit that's not unguarded. Right, Godly Menace also is good, but I like to strip tanks buffs first. It also renders them unable to receive buff, and you no longer have that here. Yeah, I don't know about this, to be honest. I feel like I want to bring this kit still. I want to bring this. I think I don't need the actual 15% damage from Faith. And in situations where I get hit by debuff and I'm screwed, even if Yulia can come out of this, all the rest of my units are all screwed, right? So I need to have Chloe or Rosenseal on the field, or Liana, etc., right, to help cleanse debuffs or grant immunity. I have Deedrit as well, right, to cleanse debuff and grant immunity. So I wouldn't run into a situation where Yulia have a lot of nasty debuff on her. I would have already lost that in that case if I can't cleanse them, because the rest of my team would be screwed. So this just doesn't feel good. This just doesn't feel good to me. But I will awaken anyways. You know, what do I know? I haven't even been playing Apex much, so. Amazon champion. Interesting. So I guess I'll use mass made then. Bow Grenadier. Green, oh, Grenier sacrificing. Wow, he actually lived. That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, I feel like I want to bring these 3 skills with Holy Justice. Holy Justice is just too strong. If you strip a tank's buffs, 5 buffs, and place buff negation, that tank is just screwed for the rest of the fight. Right, like this is very strong. Well, of course, most tank have blood pack now, so but it still feel very strong. 5 buff removal is very strong. And cannot be dispelled. Yeah, I don't. And my box is single target turtle tank push, so I don't really care about that 1 extra range from 3C. The only thing that's nice maybe is the lower cooldown, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like, the game is decided the moment you use that skill. Right? Holy Justice have higher Q potential because more buff removal, and also cripples the other tank. Whereas 3C is more of a recovery skill, right? It's a weaker dispel because it has conditional dispel, but it has nice recovery first, right? You heal before battle and you remove all debuff from yourself. So it's a recovery skill. It's more recovery. but weaker against tanks. If I only. Oh, god damn. Yeah, I'm not sure about using this 3C, to be honest. It doesn't feel good with my box because my box is anti-debuff. Like my healers, I have Chloe, I have Rosensteel, I have Liana, I also have Sophia for rewind and faction buffing. So my cooldown is usually fine if I have Sophia. It just, yeah, that just doesn't feel good. Like, I guess it all depends on your box, right? So this obviously give you a higher total power, but I don't feel this is right. I just don't feel this is right. My whole box basically tanks enemy AoE, and I have to ban some AoE and assassin. So even if Yulia survives and use 3C to recover, the rest of my box are all, the rest of my team on the field would all be screwed if I can't dispel. Right? Yeah, I like Holy Justice more. Like that 5 buff removal is really strong. Right? If you look at my team formation right now, I have a lot of buff removal. Right? My burn has 3 buff removal, 1 from 3C, 1 from this 1C passive, and 1 from Mjolnir. Right? And then my Elwyn has also 5 buff removal, right, with Sword Soul. So, and then I have Mario. Where's my Mario? Here. And Mario has this skill here has 3 buff removal, right? Plus Mjolnir's again 4 buff removal. Yeah. So like my whole box is revolved around single target push with lots of buff removal on tanks, right? 5 buff removal with Holy Justice, 5 buff removal with Sword Soul, 4 buff removal with Mario's 3C into assassination as well, or just busting the tank. Burn with 3 buff removal. So everything is buff removal. I mean, if I use Yulia's 3C, I either use Godly Menace first to grant movement debuff, so then the 3C can strip 5 buff, but that's too slow. That's too slow, right? It could work, but it might be too slow in situations where I would just want to strip 5 buffs right away, right? Godly Menace require initial setup, and especially when that buff can be stolen too. Godly Menace can be stolen by Himiko or dispelled by, like, you know, Shafanio and other units. Emmerich has movement debuff, Juggler has movement debuff, but these are all just too conditional. So I think Holy Justice is what I'll keep. Yeah, I don't think I'm using 3C. I like this setup more, and this one has very low cooldown too. Yeah, I like this setup more. Basically, I sacrifice 15% damage, but I guarantee 3 more buff removal, and if there's no gospel or gospel is removed, they also can no longer receive buffs. Hilda obviously have blood pack, Landius runs blood pack, lots of people run blood pack that negates this, but otherwise this would be devastating. For Juggler, for example, most Juggler I think run Bracer. It's devastating for Juggler too. And if Juggler come and lock me down, there's good chance I just strip the buffs back to back. You know, so I want to strip as many buffs as possible. Anyways, I haven't been playing Apex at all. Just not motivated right now. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14 online, learning you know, the current tier of salvage fights, doing raiding, getting the best in slot gears. Anyways, I wish you all the best of luck in the upcoming weekend Apex matches. Thanks for watching. /shoutout.